Hey there, everybody. My name is Chris Homey, and today we are back with some Stars Order 7. This little request that I had for a video to show how to gamble in the start of the game, build your bank up, and never have to really worry about money again. I'll show a few different ways, but we're going to go in. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. So I play in America. It's just what, happens. So I'll choose America. It'll work anywhere. Go easier. You have more money to start with. Pick a slot. Doesn't really matter where. We're going to set up for something, just a basic game. Don't even need to change my name for this one. Okay, might as well just throw in the legends for this if they do show up in a game. One of those first races in the season, then it kind of gives you a good target to actually bet on. So like I said in previous videos, there's a few ways to establish your opening bank. So it really depends how you want to do it. Now, there's buying and selling horses for profit. That's long term. That's more tricky. It doesn't get you everything from the start of the game. It doesn't set you up. I kind of look at it from the point of view that you need to be in a good position at the end of that first season. You need your breeding barn. You need all the facilities upgraded. You need maybe one or two good horses in the roster, and then you can just play without worrying. Now, if you want a more realistic game, then it's set up the way it is. It works the way it does. Don't need anything like this. You don't need any starting money. That's great. That's a totally valid way to play. I play that way in, probably about a third of my games. Like a third of my games, I heavily cheat the money. And it's just purely breeding. I'll go buy out entire sales. I'll just be trying to improve breeding stock. In other ones, I will just be, in another third, I'll be picking up my bank to build out facilities and then just playing to try and get race winners as, soon as possible. But for a totally normal game, then I won't do any of that. Won't bet heavily. In fact, I don't bet in any of those games that I normally play that way myself. So set yourself up where you want to go. Oops. Doesn't really matter where. Click Fix Stable. Go in, rename your farm, set up anything you want to set up. Now, $340,000. That's not a lot of money. It's not a whole lot of money. But you do get these starting horses, and you get more of them as, in an easy game than you do at a normal or hard level. It's just simple. Betting is easier on an easy game. So you get more horses, you get better horses, plus betting's easier. If you're really worried about money and you want to just get rid of that sort of aspect of the game, then, like I say, it's probably something good to do. Now, we've got a decent horse here. We've got Doc Reason. That's a pretty good horse. Now, it's a shame that these have now been raced, of course, but you kind of want to do that. So, there's a few ways of getting money. Number one that I would recommend in the first year. This right here, March the 1st, April the 30th, 29th of June, we've got 28th of August, and October 27th. Apologies for that if you rate anyone the way I changed dates and months around there a little bit, but yeah, so you got those 5 yearling sales. Yearlings are cheaper than 2-year-olds. Buy a yearling with some money. Roll over into next season, sell it as an unraced 2-year-old. You're probably going to at least double your money. So if you really want to make money in an easy way, you can do it that way. Once you have breeding horses, and again, there's breeding sales. 10th of February, the 23rd of March, the 3rd of May, etc. All these light blue ones here, these sort of cyan teal kind of ones, all those are breeding races. They will get you breeding mares. Breed those with some horses in here. You don't have to go crazy. You can get yourself a pretty decent horse. Let's look. A grade 1 winner for 17,850. That's the stud fees. You pay that, and then any foal is yours. So I would breed a Lazo with one of those horses, get a yearling, sell the yearling for big money. Or sell the yearling for small money, or keep it an extra year, sell it as an unraced 2-year-old for bigger money. So that's ways when you have money that you can generate more money, either by breeding or by playing the sales. Those are probably the easiest two once you have money. But let's get our initial money. Now, betting, if we double on every race, like, if that's kind of something that we're looking to do, you double your money on every race. And it's not going to happen every race. But we need about $5 million to completely buy all this. It's going to be, an extra $250,000 basically on top of all this that we're buying right here. So you've got another, 260,000 to go. So you're looking ballpark $5 million just to buy all the upgrades for the farm and give you a little bit of money to run with. But if you don't start with a good horse like Doc Reason, who's, pretty decent, then, well, you're going to need to buy horses. Unless you've got them to import from a different sieve. That's totally fine as well. So it's really up to you how you play that aspect of it. But for me, second headset messing about. Okay, hopefully that is a little better for you guys. So, I'm going to say $5 million for that. And then buy some yearlings. Buy a really good horse that appears in the breeding sales. Maybe buy a couple of 2-year-olds. So, let's work this out. Let's say 4 yearlings. You want to buy 4 yearlings, give yourself a shot at landing something decent. 4 yearlings, 200 grand a pop. Round that up to an extra $1 million. So, we're on $6 million. 2 2-year-olds, $500,000 each. We're up to 7. A good breeding mare, 8. Money to breed with, 8.5. And then some more money in the bank, again, for running costs, etc. We're looking ballpark $10 million. So you start with a chunk of change. You need to get to $10 million by the end of the first season. And that'll give you a good chance. If you can have bet your way to $10 million, then you're in a good place. So, step 1, no reserves. You're just getting rid of your starting horses. Now, if you don't like any of your starting horses, great, list them all. If you do, keep it. Why? Because maybe I can breed from this. I'm very close there to hitting my old standard of 70% potential. Everything else is fantastic. Everything else is where I wanted to be. I've also got battling qualities on an opening horse. Mind blown. And in fact, I'm going to go and kick that out to the game pool to make sure I have a copy of it. So that now appears in my transfer list, and I can bring that into a game. I don't think I can bring it back into this one. But that's okay. Because what we're going to do is save and quit. Then, instead of loading this game, I'm going to revert to the backup. And hey, Doc's there. But if Doc's there, then who's that? Easy duplication for putting horses onto the transfer pool. And if you're trying to pull them off the transfer pool, it's more difficult, because I think you've got to go import them into the game, save that game, go to your document save folder for where all the information for it is, and there's a TTF file. 1 second. Okay, I've got one of these saved on my desktop. There's a TTF file in there. I make a copy of that and bring it out onto the desktop initially, not at this point in proceedings, but I have that on my desktop. And then you open up your folder where you can have that file as well. So 1 second again, let me go and get a screenshot of that. Okay, so PC document status order 7 saves, and that's the TTF file right there. So I have actually removed a couple of files in here with my email address on. I don't really want to be giving that out right now, so that's why. But you will have a couple of HDB files, which I think are horse database files. So try not to make mess with those. Anything with a 1 in it, like all these, and even that, and that, I believe they're all for slot 1. As you can see, I've got 3 games going at the moment. Slot 1, I've actually moved files over. So that's my YouTube series. Slot 8, once again, is my breeding save. And then slot 4, that's the file we just created for this gambling tutorial. But a copy on my desktop, copy in here. I go and import a horse into the game. Save that game so that now it's in the racing stable. Then go and drag your copy that still has him in your transfer list, or still has her in your transfer list. Drag it back into this folder, overwrite that, or make a copy and copy and paste it in, so you still have this. If you're adding to your transfer list, copy this out to the desktop or another folder once you're done. And to keep them on your transfer list, but import them into a game, do all that in game, and then bring this back into your save folder so that you've got everybody where they need to be. Very simple, very easy, not too much problems. We just put Doc Reason in the game. Oh, sorry, we just put Doc Reason on the transfer list because right now he's got the battling qualities. Only 2 I've seen that have had that to any degree. I had 95% on Glingamil, which won 6 grade 1s in a row as a 5-year-old, I want to say. And Doc Reason looks pretty decent and has 75% battling quality. So I don't mind that at all. Now we got to sell these horses. So go to a day. Skip to the end of the day. And now we should see our horses in there. So the first 4 are ours. I make sure they sell. So someone's bid money. Great. We're out. So one of our 2-year-olds just went for 468,000. Another just went for 271,000. There's a bid on our 3-year-old. There's another 250,000 there, basically. And health is wealth, another 125. Not a ton of money, but that 340's just become 1.3. So we just gained $1 million on selling those opening horses. So now, with one good race, a 10-1, we can get our stake. It's that simple. So right now, I'm going to save the game. So we're saving it on Monday, 3rd of January. We go to the day's racing. We've got a list of horses. And then you click on result to get the results. Click on the form book, ahead. So this is the distance. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for a horse which wins by a decent amount. And I'm just going to go into each race until I find one. So I'm just clicking result, form book, and then looking for the race distance win. So Grand Slam. If Grand Slam, can do that again, then we can make some money at odds of 11 to 1. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Bear with me. Okay, so just notepad. So I'm just going to say race 3, Grand Slam, 11 to 1. And it won by 3.5. Then escape, race, form book, 1 1/4. I mean, it's not the best in the world. I'm actually not going to bother with that one. 3/4 of a length, not enough there. 3/4 of a length. 3/4 of a length. Dead heat. 2 lengths. Okay, so that's not bad. So race 5, although that was more than race 5, but race 5 at Columbus. So Roman Uproar. That was a 5 to 1 horse. That won by 2 lengths. Double tap escape. We go back in. 5 lengths. Beautiful. See, I see CAL and I just think Calgary. California. Yeah, I guess CLF works for me. Doesn't really matter as long as you roughly know what you are, on about with these. It's fine. So that's 11 to 4. So that's just about 2 to 1 odds. So you're going to double your money on this race. Then you're going to make 5 times on this, and then you're going to make 11 times on that. But the beauty of that one is that's a 5-length win. So unless something major happened, you're probably going to get the same winners in that first and third. 2 lengths is kind of my minimum to look for. But we've already, on one day's racing, we've got 3 races. We've got 3 horses. We've got 3 betting opportunities. And yep. And then we got race 6. I don't need to type race. I'm a big believer in shorthand for almost anything. Again, whatever notations help you remember, or maybe you just remember, that's great. We're at the screen, we're at the end of the day. Beautiful. Now, one thing you can do, since we're going to be repeating this day and Tiger Dream might come back in auction, on the off chance that it's going to be a decent horse, you can look at it because you're not going to hurt that money. So, save and quit game. Go back in. Once again, we restore the backup of the game. We're back on the 3rd of January. We've still got our money. We didn't buy Tiger. We've got horses to go find. So let me... I can kill that now. And I love this little... this little thing. It's auto hotkey, scripting type things. There's a guy on YouTube called Roomba who plays EU4, Europa Universalis. It's a game I love to play. I'm not great at, but he uses this tool a lot, so he can tell when things have changed and by how much, and it really helps him illustrate his points over what units of the game are worth using, which aren't, etc., etc. So I've kind of picked it up. So go check Roomba EU4 or EUIV, the 4 letters. ARUMBA, Roomba, and then snipping tool or whatever if you want to get something like that. Just holding on the Windows key, dragging it. It doesn't work in this, but it will work. Yes. It will work if you start it outside. So on my desktop, and then to get rid of them, you just click the little corner as if there was an X there. But it stays on an overlay, which I absolutely adore. So, let's see. So in the third race, we had Grand Slam at 11-1. It won by 3.5 lengths. I feel fairly comfortable with that. So that's a good chunk of money. Grand Slam is now 13-2. Sometimes the odds move back out when you do that, so you can keep betting. But we're going all in. We're going all in because we want that money. So, whatever way it is, I just max bet the entire thing. Sadly, you can't bet too much on this race. I think it's tied to the type of race and the prize money for the race itself. But there we are. We're all out of money. But Grand Slam has been backed. It won by 3.5 lengths. And bam. This time it lengthened out by an extra quarter. So that 1.341 million. 10.225. One race. That's all we did. One single race. Beautiful. So race 5 at Columbus. So you can check here. It says California. That says California. You know where you are. So there's race 3 at Columbus. So there's race 4. And that's race 5. Roman Uproar. Was 5-1. Now 4-1. Hey, at least we can put some decent money on this one. And again, I'd probably go all the way down. Hey, it only won by a head. So that 2 lengths, that was my minimum. That's why it's my minimum. Because it's not quite enough. But even though we didn't go all in on that one, still made another 3 million. So now I'm looking at Siramenti. So, again, you would just go all in once more and try and get your money in. I'm just going to go a little bit. Siramenti wins. Again, wins comfortably. 5 lengths, 3.5. That's fine. And Normid Lass, sorry, is there, 15-2. Again, you'd bid, go to the race, results, hey, 5 lengths, beautiful. And there you go, 15 million. 15 million in, what, 20 minutes? And then I'm just going to go and get absolutely everything I want here. Fully upgraded. We can go into high mode for absolutely everything. I never need to revisit this screen again. There's the 4 horses that we could bet on. I've got 10 million after upgrading everything. And that's how easy that is. That's how easy it is to get the betting right. All it takes is reverting to backup and going into the day, picking your race, picking your horse, and betting heavily. Once again, Grand Slam wins. And then, who was the next one? Roman Uproar wins again, only by a horse, only by a head. Siramanti wins again by 5 lengths. And then Normid Lass wins again by 3.25. So, and Tiger Dream comes up again. So if it had been a good horse, you know it's worth buying. And that's about it, guys. That's literally all you need to do. If you want to go through the same day 3 or 4 times and double check that the ones that won keep winning, then that's great. Because what that will allow you to do is eliminate that second race. I mean, we were looking at it, and you know, the first horse won decently, and the other 2 won pretty well, and it's just that second horse. So for us, I just don't know. I'd probably go through it again, and I'd make sure that we didn't get, you know, Roman Uproar. I wouldn't bet on Roman Uproar. And this time, that's why. So it won by 2 lengths. So if you want to really be safe, look at about 3 lengths. I don't think I've ever seen a horse win by 3 lengths and then not win another time without being an injury factor or, you know, just some crazy race. So if you repeat the race 3 times, it's going to win by a distance twice. But what happens if we do bet and it loses and we lose all our money? Save, quit, revert to backup, go back to the day, repeat until it follows. Now, you can do it to win races. That's a little too cheaty. That's a little bit pointless. If that's what you're going for, then more power to you. Go for it. You do you. But that's a little bit over the top. But having a good horse at the start like Doc Reason, having this money, or being able to get that money, and then upgrading my farm, that then would allow me to go into these breeding sales looking for a breeder. If I get a good breeder, I breed him with either the game bred or I breed with Doc Reason to try and get that battling qualities over onto the foals. I look then at the yearling sales. I had 10 million after it. I probably could have got 15 million. I probably could have got up to about 50 million after fully buying every upgrade for the farm. And then I could go, that's only 1 day's betting as well, 1 day's racing. That would be 3 races on 1 day. Let's say you found 5 races across an entire week. How much money can you make? And now instead of 1 million in stake money, you've got 15 million. And I think now you start to get the idea. And 3 weeks into the game is your first sale that you might want to spend money on. So that gives you 3 weeks of, finding 5 races to bet and win on. Minimum. Easily minimum. I think I can usually find at least 2 a day. And you can just get an obscene amount of money. You can get hundreds of millions before you head to that 2-year-old sale. So, it's really simple. Reverting to backup is kind of the key. Just make sure you don't save along the way because it'll revert to that save. Because it'll be the penultimate save. So if I'm to save now, when I save and quit, it's going to save again. We're going to get rid of that last save, but it's still going to take us back. So if I skip a day to the 4th and save, when I quit, it's now going to take us to the 4th. I know that scouting I did for the 3rd with all those races, they just ain't there anymore. Now I gotta look for new guys to try and figure out. Hey, time for spring. 4 3/4. That's a pretty good one. 2 1/4. 3 1/4. So postman. Time for spring and postman. Even with just those. So we're on the 5th. We saved. We're going to revert back. Come back in on the 4th. And again, Where's Time for Spring? There we go. Time for Spring didn't win. It's the first time I've seen that happen in quite some time. But then Postman comes in with a win. And again, you can just repeat it. Make sure you've got the right horses to bet on. And that's day 2. And day 3. And day 4. And day 5. And then you've got all the money you're ever going to need. So, it's not difficult. A lot of people are confused over it. But it's just repeating the same day over and over. It's like, you know, Groundhog Day. Sooner or later, you're going to know what happens to the point where you can fully take advantage of it. And that's all this is. It's easy. It's simple. I'm probably going to keep that save now, aren't I? I'm probably going to have to keep that save. Just because it's got Doc Reason in it. I mean, I can import Doc into my breeding save. But I've only just started that one up. So I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But yeah. Anything else that you want a little tutorial on, hit me up in the section below. Comments, let me know what you want to see and why. The reason I put my stable over here is because when you're clicking around for your stable, it'll come up a little message telling you that it's basically the amount of money it's going to cost you. So everything here is multiplied by your expenses band. Mine is 1, which means I pay a small amount. Now, if it does go up to 3. If you're at 3, you'll pay 3 times as much. We've got Kentucky here. We've got Louisville there. We've got Keeneland in the same area, which is horse sales. You've got the Kentucky Derby. Bluegrass country, horse racing's home. It's just the place I like to be. That's why I put it there. And it doesn't hurt that it's only expense level 1 as well. So, yeah, I think that'll about wrap up this video. I can't think of anything else I really wanted to mention. There's bits about horse transferring in and out, buying yearlings, 2-year-olds, why to buy, when to buy, how to sell, and why. Gambling for money and profit. And also why you should keep horses like Doc Reason rather than sell them at the start, even of a gambling save. I could have made an extra million. I could have started with 2 million in the bank instead of 1.3. But I'd rather have a horse like Doc. I'd rather have a horse like Doc. I can race in season 1. I can maybe win some money with Doc. And if not, I've got traits in here that will be really good to pass along into my breeding barn. So we establish a bloodline. So that's it, guys. That's where we're going to leave things. Thanks very much for watching. As I say, anything you want to know, hit me up in the comment section below or go on to the official forums at startersorders.com. They sometimes take a while to reply. Sometimes they don't reply at all. It really depends. I found some topics just get bombarded with replies. Others get ignored. But it is a good community despite that. It's a very helpful community, even though that doesn't sound like it. It's just the way it goes. It sort of ebbs and flows with activity, and things very easily get lost in the shuffle. But if I can't help you, they certainly can. I'm not sure if there's a Reddit page. I haven't found one or looked for one, really, if there is one. But that's gambling, that's money, that's half your battle. That's also transfer list shenanigans, which again is half your battle. I think in the past you had to Control Alt Delete, get the task manager up, kill the task to stop it from saving. But since you can revert from backup, I mean, that's just way easier. Now, if you go forward, we're in the 5th. If I save and load, we're still in the 5th. But let's say we save in the 5th, and then we go through to the 8th, quit. We're doing 3 days of racing, and I accidentally load game. We're in the 8th. But reverting back up will take us to the 5th, yeah? No, because the save is on the 8th, and then you're resaving on the 8th. So your backup is only going to take you back to the 8th once again. You've overwritten that backup save to the 8th because you accidentally loaded the game. Then you would have to Control Alt Delete and shut down. I don't think there's another way around that. So just be careful when you're clicking. But again, I don't think you're going to be too bad for that. You can also use this trick, like I say, to win races or just to spam to see if a horse should be run at a certain length, at a certain course, at a certain class or grade of race, etc. I've done that a lot in breeding saves just to see how good my 2-year-olds are. I'm going to be doing that a lot more, a lot of trialing that way. But that's not games I'm really going to, show you guys. That's purely for me to understand the horses better and to test out a few traits, seeing whether high cruising burst or battling qualities, for example, is more valuable in-game racing. But you can definitely do it for that. You can do it to check out an auction, the day of an auction. We can go and go around to a Friday for the Friday auction. We can go and buy these horses. Then we can go save and quit and revert after checking them and decide whether or not they're worth buying and save money. There's lots of ways you can use the backup trick, but it's, like I say, this is mostly about the money aspect. There's just a few other ways for you to use it. But that's what I do. I get about 50 million, 20 million in the bank, buy everything out here. I can set myself up, and then we're not having to struggle or lose a save because we run out of money. We're not having to end a series unless it's on my terms. And that's kind of the reasoning behind it. So, hey, without any further ado, thanks very much, guys. I do appreciate it. Hopefully this has helped some of you out, answered a few questions I've got on Twitter and on YouTube as well. And yeah, till next time, I've been Chris Orme. We've been cheating the betting system in Starters Order 7, and it's pretty much an accepted method to start at this point. On the forums, I've seen very few people sort of say that they don't do this or wouldn't do this. Vast majority own up and say that they do this, especially for breeding saves or for training horses to go into the online league, which is a competitive aspect. But for all that information, head over to the forums. I'm out. I'll see you guys next time. Take care till then, and let me know what else you want to know.